Either by death or departure, we will inevitably lose something, someone, job situation, dynamic. But I feel like we have forgotten that this is perfectly human and it's okay to lose. It's okay to fail and it's okay to grieve. But a quote I heard from somewhere was that attachment is the root of all suffering. And on the flip side of that, detachment is a form of freedom. And I feel like we have to get more comfortable with just not being in lack, but acknowledging the fact that a loss is not necessarily a loss. And grieving isn't necessarily a form of losing or the feeling of having lost something. I feel like it is the key to a deeply transforming path because, especially with these natural disasters going on, the fires in LA, there was just a snowstorm here in Atlanta, and it was just so random, but it also brought up so many good points to me. Something I had posted on my Instagram story, I had said to let natural disasters be a reminder that you can lose anything or anybody at any second and it'll be out of your control. But what is in your control is how you react and how you decide to move forward. And it's just acknowledging the fact that all good things must come to an end, either by death or departure. That's something I've been telling myself probably since like high school. For reference, I'm 20 now in my third year of college. And this has been keeping me going. I've lost two loved ones since I started college. I'm not going to sit here and just name all the things I've ever lost as if I have so many reasons to just be sad. But I'm saying, ever since I had that first moment where I meditated and I had this overwhelming feeling of gratitude, I also realized that I could lose anybody any second. And that's exactly like what happened, right? I had a spiritual awakening or whatever in like maybe 2021, 2022. And then that same year, my grandmother died. Year after that, my grandfather died. And then I changed my major, and it had just felt like I was losing. And I was just changing so much. And I was so tired. But all of this has taught me up until like the natural disasters, what I was saying, like you can lose anybody any second. It won't be your fault and it won't be in your control either. Sorry, it's so loud out there and it keeps distracting me, but I'm gonna continue. I feel like we have to get more comfortable with sitting in our feelings and letting them go and not letting them rewrite how we view life in a negative way, and realizing that just because you did, it's valid, you went through a lot of traumatizing things, you lost a lot of things, but I feel like we forget that that's just a part of life. And you are not the things you own. You're not the people you date, people you hang out with. You're not your car. You're not your house. You're not even your spiritual routine. You're not even the thoughts in your head. You are pure awareness of what's going on around you, of what you're experiencing. You are in your body. You don't even have your body. Like, it's such a crazy concept to wrap your head around, but this has made it more comprehensible for me because it really can't be explained in words. It's a feeling, you know? But I can explain it in words to the best of my ability. I feel like we we get so lost in life, in the physical, and operating on autopilot, assuming that things are ours. And then when they leave, we get upset. When we lose, we cry. When we fail, we don't try again. When we grieve, we feel like we just have to hate the world. And it's like, yes, letting go of negative emotions, feeling it to heal through it, and all of that is valid. But I feel like it's low key not necessary. Like, okay, let me rephrase. I feel like it's necessary to like journal, go through your feelings, get them out, and have that human experience. But what's not necessary is everything else that comes with that. What's not necessary is the lingering, the feeling bad for yourself, the walking around with a sad story to tell all the time. It just makes life low key for some people. I feel like it makes life more digestible when you're constantly focused on what's going wrong in your life. And then when something good happens for you, you feel guilty and you're not really grateful because you feel like you don't deserve it. And I feel like a lot of this has to do with our ideologies around losing, which I'm telling y'all, it has been ingrained in us like since colonization. And it's just like, yes, it is a feeling of losing, but at the end of the day, nothing in this world is yours. And maybe colonization is a crazy point to make. But what I'm saying is like, we shouldn't be so attached to anything in this physical world. Because just like how colonization happened, you can lose anything at any second. And I understand like that's taking people's homes, people get kidnapped, people lose their life, people, lose pets, and it's all so sad. It's all so sad. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I don't have empathy or sympathy. Because what I'm saying, I feel like why I'm even sitting here right now having this conversation with y'all and having these thoughts in my head is because I've emotionally matured. I feel like I've selectively chosen the experiences that I've had before I had them so that I could come here in this body now and talk to you guys about the essence of grief and loss and how it's not a bad thing and how losing things isn't a bad thing. It's never a bad thing, low key. And it's just a perspective switch. Maybe it's unrealistic, maybe it's unfathomable, but I don't know. It could be depersonalization as well. I think maybe my detachment from like people, places, things, situations has low key put me in like movie character mode. And I'm like kind of just watching each episode of my life go by. Next episode, oh, this person died. That had to be a part of the script. COVID happened. My uncle died. Lost my dog. Great grandmother died. Like all of this has to be a part of the script. It has to be for a reason, right? And it's why I'm able to sit here right now and still feel proud of myself and still be grateful for what I do have. Because I realize that as you get older, life is just a series of losing, gaining, losing, gaining, losing. And for every single thing you lose, you gain something 10 times more valuable that you probably not even realizing in the moment. And I just wish that I could like give this knowing and belief that I have to other people so that they can truly understand where I'm coming from. Because all of this is coming from my perspective with life, the things I've experienced, and how I'm speaking on it is specifically specific to me, right? And not everybody experiences. Sorry, the jacket is so cute, made by me. Anyways, I don't know. I low key forgot what I was talking about. This was just an idea I had in my head for a long time. And I think a part of my depersonalization came from the fact that I felt so emotionally traumatized a lot of times in my life, to a point where I've just kind of took myself out of my own body, and I got into a habit of seeing things as the grander, like, broader perspective that I should be looking at it from. And it's very human to react. And I understand all of that, like, but it's just very 3D. And yes, we are meant to be humans. If we were meant to be a higher consciousness and not react to things and not lose things, we would be, right? But we're not. You're human for a reason. And you're meant to experience loss and grief. You are meant to experience failure. You're meant to experience mistakes. That is what makes life digestible for me. The spontaneity of it. The fact that, oh, this was something I heard in another video. She was like, you could be the best painter and still not get commissions. You could have the best interview and still not get picked for the job. You could love someone down to the skin and bones, dirt. You can love someone more than you love yourself, and they will still leave and shit on you like you didn't love them. Because a lot of that stuff has nothing to do with you and everything to do with what God or the universe or whatever your source is, even if you're atheist, it has everything to do with what needs to happen in your life for you to transform. You physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally cannot stay in the same place, and you don't. And when you try to, there's resistance, and it shows in your habits and the way you think. And maybe it's unrealistic for everybody to just walk around thinking, oh, I'm supposed to lose, it's fine. But it's really not. It's really not unrealistic at all. And I think if people got more comfortable with that ideology, I feel like we would take a lot more risk. And I feel like, I don't know. I don't know. Because I can only speak on my life, right? I'm only 20. So obviously there's only so much years of life that I can speak on. Like, I have not been here for that long. You feel me? But I feel like this is knowledge that I've had from a past life. And I feel like at this point, I've only been in 2 serious relationships, and losing both of them was very painful. But, something I realized about myself is that no matter what situation, I've lost friends, 2 friends, like, obviously, but no matter what situation or dynamic or job or emotion that I'm in that's bad, I always come out a better person. Like, just think about that. Every single time something bad has happened to you, if you're here watching this video now, I guarantee you can agree that something amazing either followed it or there was a deeper transformation, a deeper introspection that happened within you. And for that, you should be grateful for everything that you lose. I'm happy that I make mistakes. I'm happy that I fail. I'm grateful that relationships don't work out, because then it just allows me to just, okay, that sounded crazy, but for real though, I'm grateful that some relationships didn't work out, because it's like, if I hadn't been, on the way I was shitted on, if I hadn't been talked about the way I was talked about or picked on, or if I hadn't lost people, like, I would not be half as resilient as I am now. And maybe that's just the grit in me talking. Maybe it's the fact that I understand that all of this stuff is this, like, it's atoms. It's nothing. Everything is everything, but at the same time, everything is nothing. And this whole life, I'm not going to say life is nothing, but it's literally just like, I don't know. I just be taking my time more. I don't dwell on stuff as much. I try my hardest not to complain about stuff, but the girl. But I don't know. I wish I had more people in my environment that kind of validated this ideology that I have around like losing being a good thing and bad things being transformative paths. But I feel like my whole life, not my whole life, but majority of my life, I've been pretty much surrounded by people that have taught me, oh, if you get a bad grade, there's a consequence. When in reality, it just taught me to study more. If I lose somebody, it is a sign that I'm not worth being with. Instead, it made me love myself more. If somebody leaves me, it's like, why would I care if somebody leaves me? Things are meant for a season sometimes. And it's like you just can't experience life from this like holier than thou, everything deserves to go my way. Like, yes, I do low key experience life like that. Like, everything goes my way even when it's not going my way. But at the same time, it can be toxic when you think you're entitled to everybody's time and energy. You think you're entitled to the job just because you applied for it. But it's like, imagine all the blessings you could be missing out on by thinking everything that you want should want you back. Some things don't manifest because it's not for you. Relationships don't work out because it's not meant to. You feel me? And I think it's realistic to be upset about that, but I'm not going to carry it into my self worth. But, anyways, this video is pretty long, so it's really not. I've actually been trying to make longer videos because I have a lot of thoughts, y'all. I like to just sit and think and talk, and I made a voice memo about this on my phone because I get a lot of my thoughts when I'm doing stuff that has nothing to do with like YouTube or art. That's when I get the most like, oh my gosh, like this is something I really want to speak on. And I did in my voice memos. I made like a 12-minute audio, me just talking about this same topic last night. And I was like, tomorrow I gotta record this video because people gotta hear this. You never know who needs to hear your voice and who needs to hear your journey and how it's transformed you into the person you are now because it could trigger something in somebody else. And yeah, all good things must come to an end. Detachment is a form of freedom, but it's not an excuse to depersonalize. And attachment can be the root of your suffering. Y'all have a blessed day.